Question 1. Who among the following is the author of the seminal work An Introduction to the Study of Indian History? The correct answer is option B, D.D. Kosambi. Explanation: D.D. Kosambi, Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi, was a renowned Indian mathematician, statistician, historian, and Indologist. His work An Introduction to the Study of Indian History, 1956, is considered a pioneering Marxist analysis of ancient Indian history, emphasizing material culture and economic factors in historical development. He challenged traditional interpretations and introduced new methodologies to the study of Indian past. Question 2. The influential paper titled, "Was There Feudalism in Indian History?" is associated with which of the following historians? The correct answer is option C, Harbans Mukhia. Explanation: Harbans Mukhia is a prominent Indian historian known for his work on medieval India and his critique of the concept of Indian feudalism. His paper, "Was There Feudalism in Indian History?" 1979, sparked a significant debate among historians, challenging the applicability of the European feudal model to the Indian context. While scholars like R.S. Sharma argued for the existence of feudalism in India, Mukhia emphasized the differences in agrarian relations and the absence of serfdom in India. Question 3. With reference to the structural models related to early Indian society, consider the following statements. Statement 1. The polity based on feudal system model suggests a decentralized political structure with land grants. Statement 2. The theory of integrated polity emphasizes the assimilation of local power structures into a larger state framework. Statement 3. The theory of segmentary state proposes a ritual sovereignty of the central ruler over semi-autonomous segments. Which of the statements given above are correct? The correct answer is option D, 1, 2 and 3. Explanation: all three statements are correct. The feudal system model, example, R.S. Sharma, highlights land grants and decentralized power. The integrated polity model, example, Herman Kulke, suggests a process of state formation through the integration of local chiefs. The segmentary state model, example, Bertenstein, describes a polity where the ruler exercises direct control over a core area and ritual sovereignty over peripheral segments, often seen in South Indian history. Question 4. What is the Samantha system in the context of early medieval Indian history? The correct answer is option B, a political system based on hierarchy of vassals. Explanation: the Samantha system was a political system prevalent in early medieval India, particularly from the Gupta period onwards. It involved a hierarchy of vassals or subordinate chiefs, Samanthas, who held land grants from a central ruler. These Samanthas were expected to pay tribute, provide military support, and acknowledge the suzerainty of the overlord. This system contributed to the decentralization of political power and is often associated with the rise of feudal tendencies in India. Question 5. With which dynasty did Indian Muslims, Hindus converted to Islam or those who settled in India for generations, start entering into significant positions of power in the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option C, Khaljis. Explanation: while the Ilbaris, slave dynasty, were primarily of Turkic origin, it was during the reign of the Khaljis, particularly Alauddin Khalji, that a conscious effort was made to incorporate a wider section of the population, including Indian Muslims, into the administration and military. This was a departure from the earlier Turkic dominance and reflected a more pragmatic approach to governance, expanding the base of support for the Sultanate. Question 6. Which of the following taxes was generally not permitted by the Shariat, Islamic law, for a Muslim ruler to levy? The correct answer is option D, marriage tax. Explanation: the Shariat, Islamic law, outlines permissible forms of taxation, which generally include zakat, charity on Muslims, jizya, poll tax on non-Muslims, and kharaj, land tax. While various commercial taxes and duties existed, a specific marriage tax was generally not sanctioned by the Shariat as a standard levy. Rulers sometimes imposed additional taxes, abwabs, which were often considered extra-Shariat. Question 7. With reference to jizya during the Delhi Sultanate, which of the following statements is not true? The correct answer is option C. The first ruler to collect it in India was Firoz Tughlaq. Explanation: statement C is not true. Jizya was a poll tax levied on non-Muslims, dhimmis, in Islamic states, in return for protection and exemption from military service. Historically, Brahmins were often exempted from jizya in many periods. The first ruler to impose jizya in India was Muhammad bin Qasim after his conquest of Sindh in the 8th century, not Firoz Tughlaq. Firoz Tughlaq was notable for imposing jizya on Brahmins for the first time, who had previously been exempted. While it was a significant tax, it did yield substantial revenue for the state. Question 8. The Iqtadars during the period of the Delhi Sultanate were also known as. The correct answer is option B, Muqtis. Explanation: during the Delhi Sultanate, the holders of Iqtas, land assignments given in lieu of salary, were known as Iqtadars or Muqtis. They were responsible for collecting revenue from their Iqtas and maintaining law and order, as well as providing military contingents to the Sultan. The term Mamlatars is associated with later administrative systems, particularly in the Maratha and British periods. Question 9. How many jitals typically made up one tanka during the Delhi Sultanate period? The correct answer is option C, 48. Explanation: during the Delhi Sultanate, particularly under Iltutmish, the silver tanka and the copper jital were the two main cons. The standard ratio was 48 jitals to 1 tanka. This monetary system was crucial for trade and administration during the Sultanate period. Question 10. Who is historically identified as Tamerlane? The correct answer is option C, Timur. Explanation: Tamerlane is the westernized name for Timur, also known as Timurilin, Timur the Lame. He was a Turco-Mongol conqueror who founded the Timurid Empire in the late 14th century. He is infamous for his devastating invasion of India in 1398, which led to the sacking of Delhi and significantly weakened the Delhi Sultanate. Question 11. The department Diwan-i-Kohi, created by Muhammad Tughlaq, primarily looked after which of the following areas? The correct answer is option B, agriculture. Explanation: Muhammad Tughlaq established the Diwan-i-Kohi as a separate department to improve and expand agriculture. This department was tasked with bringing barren land under cultivation, providing loans to farmers, and introducing new crops. It was part of his ambitious, though often ill-fated, administrative reforms aimed at increasing state revenue and agricultural productivity. Question 12. Who was the first Sultan of Delhi to pay soldiers in cash instead of through Iqtas? The correct answer is option D, Alauddin Khalji. Explanation: Alauddin Khalji was the first Sultan of Delhi to introduce the system of paying his soldiers in cash salaries rather than granting them land assignments, Iqtas. This reform was part of his broader military and economic policies aimed at creating a strong, centralized army directly loyal to the Sultan and controlling prices to maintain a large standing army efficiently. Question 13. Who introduced token currency in China before Muhammad Tughlaq introduced it in India? The correct answer is option A, Kublai Khan. Explanation: Kublai Khan, the founder of the Yuan dynasty in China, introduced paper currency, a form of token currency, in the 13th century. Muhammad Tughlaq was inspired by this Chinese example when he introduced his own token currency, bronze coins, in India in the 14th century. However, Tughlaq's experiment failed largely due to widespread counterfeiting and lack of state control over its production. Question 14. What was a Shahnah in the administration of the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option D, Market Superintendent. Explanation: during the Delhi Sultanate, particularly under Alauddin Khalji, a Shahnah was a market superintendent. The Shahnah-i-Mandi was an officer responsible for regulating markets, ensuring fair prices, and preventing hoarding, especially in the grain markets. This was a crucial part of Alauddin Khalji's economic reforms aimed at maintaining a large army at low cost. Question 15. Who completed the construction of the Qutub Minar? The correct answer is option C, Iltutmish. Explanation: the construction of the Qutub Minar was initiated by Qutubuddin Aibak, the founder of the Delhi Sultanate, in memory of the Sufi saint Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. However, he only managed to complete the first story. It was his successor and son-in-law, Iltutmish, who completed the remaining 3 stories of the Minar. Later, Firoz Shah Tughlaq repaired and added 2 more stories after it was damaged by lightning. Question 16. What was Arghatta in the context of medieval Indian technology? The correct answer is option C, a device to lift water. Explanation: Arghatta refers to a Persian wheel or a similar device used for lifting water for irrigation. It was a significant technological advancement in medieval India, improving agricultural productivity by facilitating water supply to fields. This device utilized a series of pots or buckets attached to a wheel, often powered by animals, to draw water from wells or rivers. Question 17. Charai was a tax levied on which of the following during the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option C, milch cattle. Explanation: Charai was a grazing tax levied on milch cattle during the Delhi Sultanate, particularly introduced by Alauddin Khalji. This tax, along with ghari, house tax, was part of his comprehensive revenue reforms aimed at increasing state income and controlling resources to support his large standing army and price control measures. Question 18. Which among the following medieval historians commented that death liberated Muhammad Tughlaq from his people and freed them from him? The correct answer is option D, Ibn Battuta. Explanation: the famous Moroccan traveler and chronicler Ibn Battuta, who spent several years in India during the reign of Muhammad Tughlaq, made this poignant comment. His observation reflects the tumultuous and often strained relationship between the Sultan and his subjects, marked by Tughlaq's ambitious but often disastrous policies like the transfer of capital, token currency, and heavy taxation. Question 19. What was Kharaj during the Delhi Sultanate period? The correct answer is option C, land tax. Explanation: Kharaj was a significant land tax levied by the Delhi Sultans. It was primarily imposed on non-Muslim cultivators and was generally higher than the ushur, land tax on Muslims. The rate of Kharaj varied, but it was a major source of revenue for the Sultanate, reflecting the agrarian nature of the economy. Question 20. Who were the Rays and Ranas during the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option C, local chiefs who opposed sultans. Explanation: The terms Rais and Ranas referred to powerful local chiefs or Hindu-landed aristocrats who often held significant influence in their respective regions. They frequently posed challenges to the authority of the Delhi Sultans, sometimes cooperating and at other times rebelling. The sultans often had to negotiate with or subdue these local powers to assert their control over the vast territories. Question 21. Who were Burids in the administration of the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option A, secret agents. Explanation: Burids were secret agents or intelligence officers in the Delhi Sultanate. They formed an extensive espionage network, reporting directly to the Sultan about the activities of nobles, officials, and the general populace. This system was crucial for the sultans to maintain control, prevent conspiracies, and stay informed about events across their vast empire. Question 22. Under whose reign did Divanayars become a separate department? The correct answer is option D, Balban. Explanation: Balban is credited with reorganizing and strengthening the military administration by establishing the Divanayars as a separate and powerful military department. The head of this department, the Arizai-Mumalik, was responsible for recruiting, equipping, and paying the army, as well as maintaining its discipline. This reform was central to Balban's policy of consolidating the Sultanate's power and suppressing internal rebellions. Question 23. What was the correct chronological order of the dynasties that ruled the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option B, slave, Khalji, Tughlaq, Sayyid, Lodi. Explanation: The correct chronological order of the dynasties of the Delhi Sultanate is Slave Dynasty, Mamluk Dynasty, 1206 to 1290, followed by the Khalji Dynasty, 1290 to 1320, then the Tughlaq Dynasty, 1320 to 1414, the Sayyid Dynasty, 1414 to 1451, and finally the Lodi Dynasty, 1451 to 1526. This sequence is fundamental to understanding the political history of medieval India. Question 24. Who among the following Delhi Sultans was known as Lak Baksh? The correct answer is option A, Aibak. Explanation: Kutubuddin Aibak, the first Sultan of Delhi and founder of the slave dynasty, was known by the epithet Lak Baksh, giver of lakhs. This title was bestowed upon him due to his immense generosity and liberal distribution of wealth to the needy and scholars. He was also known as Pilk Baksh, giver of elephants. Question 25. Who introduced the system of Chehra, descriptive role of soldiers, for the first time in the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option D, Alauddin Khalji. Explanation: Alauddin Khalji introduced the system of Chehra, descriptive role of soldiers, along with Dag, branding of horses. These reforms were aimed at preventing corruption and ensuring the efficiency of his army. The descriptive role helped in identifying soldiers and preventing proxies, while branding horses ensured that quality horses were maintained and not replaced by inferior ones. Question 26. The term Ghanima in the Delhi Sultanate stands for. The correct answer is option C, war booty. Explanation: Ghanima refers to war booty or spoils of war collected during military campaigns. According to Islamic law, a certain portion, usually 1/5, of the Ghanima was reserved for the state, Sultan's treasury, while the remaining 4/5 were distributed among the soldiers. This was a significant source of income for the Delhi Sultanate, especially during periods of expansion. Question 27. Which Sultan of Delhi established an employment bureau, a charity bureau, Diwan-i Khairat, and a charitable hospital, Darul Shafa? The correct answer is option A, Firoz Tughlaq. Explanation: Firoz Tughlaq was known for his extensive public works and welfare measures. He established the Diwan-i-Khairat for charity, providing aid for marriages of poor Muslim girls and other charitable purposes. He also set up an employment bureau to help unemployed people find work and founded several hospitals, including the Darul Shafa in Delhi, which provided free medical care. His reign is often characterized by a focus on public welfare and infrastructure development. Question 28. Who introduced the famous Persian festival of Nowruz in the Delhi Sultanate? The correct answer is option C, Balban. Explanation: Balban introduced the Persian festival of Nowruz, New Year, in his court. This was part of his broader policy to enhance the prestige and grandeur of the Sultanate, drawing inspiration from Persian court traditions. He adopted many Persian customs, including sijda, prostration, and pebos, kissing the monarch's feet, to instill awe and respect for the monarch among his nobles and subjects. Question 29. Who was appointed as the envoy of Muhammad Tughlaq to the court of the Chinese emperor? The correct answer is option B, Ibn Battuta. Explanation: The famous Moroccan traveller Ibn Battuta served as a Qazi, judge, in Delhi for several years under Muhammad Tughlaq. In 1341, Tughlaq appointed him as his envoy to the court of the Yuan dynasty emperor of China. Battuta's journey to China and his subsequent accounts provide invaluable insights into the political and cultural exchanges of the period. Question 30. Which one of the following cities was not founded by Firoz Tughlaq? The correct answer is option C, Tughlaqabad. Explanation: Firoz Tughlaq was a prolific builder and is credited with founding several cities, including Jaunpur, named after his cousin Muhammad Tughlaq, also known as Juna Khan, Hisar Firuja, and Firozabad, Firoz Shah Kotla in Delhi. Tughlaqabad was founded by his predecessor, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, the founder of the Tughlaq Dynasty. Question 31. What was Khidamti in the context of the Delhi Sultanate's revenue system? The correct answer is option C, a tribute realized from the subjugated Indian chiefs. Explanation: Khidamti was a tribute or service tax realized from subjugated Indian chiefs or local rulers who accepted the suzerainty of the Delhi Sultanate. It was a form of acknowledgement of their subordinate status and a source of revenue for the central government. This was distinct from regular land taxes or commercial duties. Question 32. The Hindu ruler of Sindh who was defeated and deposed by the Arab invaders in the early 8th century CE was? The correct answer is option C, Deher. Explanation: In 712 CE, the Arab general Muhammad bin Qasim invaded Sindh. He defeated and killed Raja Deher, the Brahman ruler of Sindh, in the Battle of Rewar. This conquest marked the first significant and lasting Muslim presence in the Indian subcontinent, establishing the Arab rule in Sindh. Question 33. Whom did Mahmud of Ghazni defeat to conquer and annex Peshawar and Punjab? The correct answer is option A, Hindu Shahis. Explanation: Mahmud of Ghazni launched several invasions into India between 1000 and 1027 CE. His initial campaigns were primarily directed against the Hindu Shahi dynasty of Vahind, modern Peshawar, and parts of Punjab. He repeatedly defeated their rulers, including Jaipala and Anandapala, eventually leading to the annexation of Peshawar and Punjab into the Ghaznavid Empire. Question 34. Who was the court poet of Mahmud of Ghazni and the author of the epic poem Shahnama? The correct answer is option D, Firdausi. Explanation: Firdausi, Abul Qasim Firdausi Tusi, was a Persian poet who was patronized by Mahmud of Ghazni. He is the author of the monumental epic poem Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, which is considered the national epic of Iran and a masterpiece of Persian literature. It chronicles the mythical and historical past of Iran from the creation of the world to the Arab conquest of Persia in the 7th century. Question 35. Who was the first Indian ruler to defeat Muhammad of Ghur? The correct answer is option D, Mullah Raja II, the Solanki ruler of Gujarat. Explanation: Muhammad of Ghur suffered his first major defeat in India at the hands of Mullah Raja II, the young Solanki, Chalukya, ruler of Gujarat, in the Battle of Kasharda, near Mount Abu, in 1178 CE. Muhammad of Ghur had attempted to conquer Gujarat after his initial successes in Multan and Sindh. This defeat forced him to change his invasion route towards India, subsequently focusing on the Punjab region. Question 36. Diwan-i-Khairat was a separate department established for. The correct answer is option A, Public Works and Welfare. Explanation: Diwan-i-Khairat was a department of charity and public welfare established by Firoz Tughlaq. It was responsible for providing financial assistance to the poor, especially for the marriages of Muslim girls, and for other charitable activities. This department reflects Firoz Tughlaq's focus on social welfare and religious endowments. Question 37. Who was the founder of the city of Agra? The correct answer is option D, Sikandar Lodi. Explanation: the city of Agra was founded in 1504 by Sikandar Lodi, the second ruler of the Lodi dynasty. He shifted his capital from Delhi to Agra in 1506, recognizing its strategic importance for controlling the Doab region and for keeping a check on the Rajput states. Agra later became a prominent capital under the Mughals. Question 38. Arrange the following Delhi Sultans of the Mamluk, slave, dynasty in chronological order from earliest to latest. Statement 1. Nasiruddin Mahmud. Statement 2. Kakubad. Statement 3. Iltutmish. Statement 4. Rajia. Statement 5. Kutubuddin Aibak. Statement 6. Balban. Select the answer from the codes given below. The correct answer is option B, V, 3, 4, I, 6 and 2. Explanation: the correct chronological order of the Mamluk, slave, dynasty rulers is Kutubuddin Aibak, 1206 to 1210, followed by Iltutmish, 1211 to 1236, then Razia Sultan, 1236 to 1240, Nasiruddin Mahmud, 1246 to 1266, Ghiyasuddin Balban, 1266 to 1287, and finally Kakubad, 1287 to 1290. This sequence represents the major rulers and their succession within the dynasty. Question 39. Which of the following new techniques in the cotton textile industry were introduced in India by the Turks during the Delhi Sultanate period? Statement 1. Spinning jenny. Statement 2. Spinning wheel. Statement 3. Water frame. Statement 4. Cotton carder's bow. Statement 5. Weaver's treadles. Choose the answer from the codes below. The correct answer is option D, 2, 4 and V. Explanation: the Turks introduced several technological innovations to India. Among the options, the spinning wheel, charkha, the cotton carder's bow, pinjan, and weaver's treadles were significant introductions that improved the efficiency of cotton textile production. The spinning jenny and water frame are much later inventions associated with the Industrial Revolution in Europe. Question 40. Match list I with list 2 and select the correct answer from the codes given below. The correct answer is option B, IB, 2E, 3A, 4D, VC. Explanation: Let's match the terms. I. Dag B. Branding of horses, introduced by Alauddin Khalji to prevent substitution of good horses with inferior ones. 2. Chehra E. Descriptive role of a soldier, also introduced by Alauddin Khalji to prevent corruption and maintain an accurate record of soldiers. 3. Tabos A. Kissing the Sultan's feet, a Persian court custom introduced by Balban to enhance the prestige of the monarch. 4. Nowroz D. Persian New Year, a Persian festival introduced by Balban to add grandeur to the court. V. Sizda C. Prostration in front of the Sultan, another Persian court custom introduced by Balban, signifying the absolute authority of the Sultan. Question 41. Which of the following constituted the tax collecting officials at the local level during the Delhi Sultanate? Statement 1. Rays. Statement 2. Khuts. Statement 3. Chaudhries. Statement 4. Mukaddams. Choose the answer from the codes below. The correct answer is option D, 2, 3 and 4. Explanation. During the Delhi Sultanate, especially under Alauddin Khalji, Khuts, village headmen, Chaudhries, head of 100 villages, and Mukaddams, village headmen, were important local intermediaries who assisted in the collection of land revenue. They were often powerful figures in the rural administration. Rays were generally powerful local chiefs or landed aristocrats, not primarily tax-collecting officials in the same sense. Question 42. Which Sultan represented himself as Sikandar Sani, the second Alexander? The correct answer is option A, Alauddin Khalji. Explanation. Alauddin Khalji harbored ambitions of world conquest and styled himself as Sikandar Sani or the second Alexander. He even had this title inscribed on his khans. While he did not embark on world conquest, his extensive military campaigns within India, conquering vast territories, reflected his imperialistic ambitions. Question 43. Niccolo de' Conti, an Italian visitor, came to the Vijayanagara Empire during the reign of which ruler? The correct answer is option B, Deva Raya I. Explanation. Niccolo de' Conti, an Italian merchant and traveller, visited the Vijayanagara Empire around 1420 to 1421 CE during the reign of Deva Raya I of the Sangama dynasty. His accounts provide valuable insights into the city's grandeur, its administration, and the social life of the time. Question 44. Who among the following Vijayanagara rulers bore the title Gazbentakra? The correct answer is option B, Deva Raya II. Explanation. Deva Raya II, also known as Praudha Deva Raya, of the Sangama dynasty, who ruled the Vijayanagara Empire from 1424 to 1446 CE, bore the title Gazbentakra, meaning elephant hunter. This title reflected his prowess in hunting elephants and his military strength, as elephants were a crucial part of medieval warfare. Question 45. Which Vijayanagara ruler sent an embassy to China? The correct answer is option C, Bukka I. Explanation. Bukka I, one of the founders of the Vijayanagara Empire and a ruler of the Sangama dynasty, 1356 to 1377 CE, is known to have sent an embassy to China. This indicates the diplomatic and trade relations maintained by the Vijayanagara Empire with distant powers, reflecting its growing influence and economic prosperity. Question 46. What is the correct chronology of dynasties that ruled the Vijayanagara Empire? The correct answer is option D, Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, Arvidu. Explanation. The Vijayanagara Empire was ruled by four successive dynasties: the Sangama dynasty, c. 1336 to 1485 CE, followed by the Saluva dynasty, c. 1485 to 1505 CE, then the Tuluva dynasty, c. 1505 to 1570 CE, and finally the Arvidu dynasty, c. 1570 to 1646 c. This chronological order is essential for understanding the political evolution of the empire. Question 47. Which Bahmani ruler shifted the capital from Gulbarga to Bidar? The correct answer is option B, Ahmad Shah Wali. Explanation: Ahmad Shah Wali, also known as Ahmad Shah I, of the Bahmani Sultanate, who ruled from 1422 to 1436 CE, shifted the capital from Gulbarga, Ahsanabad, to Bidar, Muhammadabad, in 1429 CE. This move was partly due to Bidar's more central location within the kingdom and its strategic advantages, leading to its development as a significant architectural and cultural center. Question 48. When was the Bahmani kingdom founded? The correct answer is option C, 1347. Explanation: the Bahmani kingdom was founded in 1347 CE by Alauddin Hasan Bahman Shah, Hasan Gyan. It emerged as an independent Muslim kingdom in the Deccan following the revolt of local Muslim nobles against the authority of Muhammad Tughlaq of the Delhi Sultanate. It was one of the most powerful medieval Indian kingdoms in the Deccan. Question 49. Which was the second capital of the Vijayanagara Empire after the fall of the main city? The correct answer is option C, Penukonda. Explanation: after the disastrous Battle of Talikota in 1565, which led to the destruction of the city of Vijayanagar, the capital of the empire was shifted. The Arvidu dynasty, which succeeded the Tuluvas, initially moved the capital to Penukonda and later to Chandragiri. Penukonda served as a significant capital during the empire's later phase. Question 50. What was the largest administrative division in the Vijayanagara Empire? The correct answer is option D, Mandalam. Explanation: in the Vijayanagara Empire, the largest administrative division was the Mandalam province, which was governed by a governor, often a member of the royal family or a powerful noble. Mandalams were further subdivided into nadus, districts, which were then divided into stalas, sub-districts, and finally gramas, villages. Kottam and Kurram were also administrative units, but Mandalam was the largest. Question 51. Who founded the Warkari sect in Maharashtra? The correct answer is option B, Tukaram. Explanation: the Warkari, or Warkari, sect is a prominent Vaishnav devotional tradition in Maharashtra centered around the worship of Vithal, Vithoba, a form of Krishna. While many saints contributed to its development, Sant Tukaram, 17th century, is considered one of its most influential figures and a key founder, along with Dnyaneshwar, Namdeva, and Eknatha. His Abhangas, devotional poems, are central to the Warkari tradition. Question 52. Who established the Chisti order in India? The correct answer is option C, Shaikh Moinuddin Chisti. Explanation: Shaikh Moinuddin Chisti, also known as Khwaja Moinuddin Chisti, is credited with establishing the Chisti order of Sufism in India. He arrived in India around the late 12th century and settled in Ajmer, Rajasthan, which became the center of the Chisti order. His shrine in Ajmer is a revered pilgrimage site for both Muslims and Hindus. Question 53. Who built a college, madrasa, at Bidar, making it an important intellectual center in the Deccan? The correct answer is option D, Mahmud Gawa. Explanation: Mahmud Gawa was a highly influential prime minister and general of the Bahmani Sultanate during the reign of Muhammad Shah III. He was a great patron of learning and built a magnificent madrasa, college, at Bidar in 1472. This institution became a prominent center for Islamic learning, attracting scholars from across the Islamic world and significantly contributing to Bidar's intellectual reputation. Question 54. Who among the following said, God is the breath of all breath? The correct answer is option B, Kabir. Explanation: this profound statement, God is the breath of all breath, is attributed to Sant Kabir. It reflects his philosophy of the omnipresence of God and the unity of all existence, transcending religious boundaries. Kabir, a prominent figure of the Bhakti movement, emphasized a formless God and direct devotion, rejecting rituals and caste distinctions. Question 55. Dohas were. The correct answer is option D, couplets which Kabir composed and by which he taught his followers. Explanation: dohas are a form of rhyming couplets, and they were famously composed by Sant Kabir to convey his spiritual and philosophical teachings. These short, pithy verses are central to the Kabirpanth tradition and are widely recited in North India. They often contain profound spiritual insights, social critiques, and calls for universal love and harmony. Question 56. Guru Nanak Dev, the founder of Sikhism, was born in which year? The correct answer is option A, 1469. Explanation: Guru Nanak Dev was born in 1469 CE at Talwandi, now Nankana Sahib in Pakistan. He was the founder of Sikhism and the first of the 10 Sikh Gurus. His teachings emphasized monotheism, equality, selfless service, and devotion to God, forming the bedrock of the Sikh faith. Question 57. Amukta is a book on. The correct answer is option C, polity. Explanation: Amukta is a Telugu epic poem composed by the great Vijayanagara ruler Krishna Devaraya. While it is a literary work, its central theme revolves around polity and statecraft, offering insights into the ideal qualities of a king, governance, and administration. It is considered a masterpiece of Telugu literature. Question 58. Madura Vijayam, written by Gangadevi, describes. The correct answer is option C, capture of Madura by Kampna. Explanation: Madura Vijayam, also known as Kampna Charitram, is a Sanskrit epic poem written by Gangadevi, the wife of Kumara Kampna. It vividly describes the conquest of Madura, Madurai, by Kumara Kampna, the son of Vijayanagar founder Bukka I, from the Madurai Sultanate in the mid-14th century. This victory was crucial for the expansion and consolidation of the Vijayanagar Empire in the south. Question 59. Who wrote Gangadasa Pralpa Vilasam? The correct answer is option D, Gangadhar. Explanation: Gangadasa Pralpa Vilasam is a literary work attributed to Gangadhar. This work is less commonly known compared to the major works of the Ashtadhyagas, 8 poets, in Krishna Devaraya's court, but it contributes to the rich literary tradition of the Vijayanagar period. Question 60. What were Varhas in the context of the Vijayanagar Empire? The correct answer is option B, gold coins. Explanation: Varhas were the principal gold coins issued by the rulers of the Vijayanagar Empire. These coins were known for their purity and artistic quality, often depicting deities like Vishnu, Varha Avatar, or other symbols. The Varha coinage was a symbol of the empire's economic prosperity and its strong Hindu identity. Question 61. Amukta was written in which language? The correct answer is option C, Telugu. Explanation: Amukta, the epic poem by Krishna Devaraya, was written in Telugu. Krishna Devaraya was a great patron of Telugu literature, and his reign is often considered the golden age of Telugu literature. He himself was a distinguished poet in Telugu. Question 62. The city of Nadlapura was built by. The correct answer is option C, Krishna Deva Raya. Explanation: Krishna Deva Raya, the greatest ruler of the Vijayanagara Empire, founded the city of Naglapura, also known as Naglapuram, in memory of his mother, Nagla Devi. This city was located near the capital Vijayanagar and was known for its temples and tanks, reflecting the architectural and engineering prowess of the period. Question 63. The Sangama brothers, who founded Vijayanagar, were originally in the service of which kingdom? The correct answer is option C, Kaktiya Kingdom. Explanation: the Sangama brothers, Harihar I and Bukka I, who founded the Vijayanagara Empire, were initially feudatories or officials in the service of the Kaktiya Kingdom of Warangal. After the fall of the Kaktiyas to the Delhi Sultanate, they moved south and eventually established the Vijayanagara Empire in 1336 CE, initially under the influence of the Hoysalas, but quickly asserting independence. Question 64. Who was responsible for developing the Gurumukhi script? The correct answer is option D, Guru Angad. Explanation: Guru Angad Dev, the second of the 10 Sikh Gurus, is credited with standardizing and popularizing the Gurumukhi script. While the script existed in some form before him, he refined it and made it the primary script for writing the teachings of the Gurus, including the compositions of Guru Nanak. This helped in preserving and disseminating Sikh scriptures. Question 65. What was a murid in the context of Sufism? The correct answer is option C, a disciple. Explanation: in Sufism, a murid is a disciple or a spiritual aspirant who commits to a particular Sufi master or teacher, Pir or Shaykh. The murid undergoes spiritual training and guidance from the Pir to progress on the Sufi path towards divine knowledge and closeness to God. Question 66. A silsila was a. The correct answer is option C, a Sufi order. Explanation: in Sufism, a silsila refers to a Sufi order or a chain of spiritual lineage. It represents the unbroken chain of succession from the Prophet Muhammad through various Sufi masters to the present-day Pir. Each silsila has its own distinct practices, rituals, and spiritual teachings, such as the Chishti, Suhrawardi, Qadiri, and Naqshbandi orders. Question 67. Suddhadvaita was propounded by. The correct answer is option D, Vallabhacharya. Explanation: Suddhadvaita, pure non-dualism, is a philosophical school of Vedanta propounded by Vallabhacharya, 1479 to 1531 CE. It is a Vaishnav philosophy that emphasizes the worship of Krishna as the supreme Brahman. Unlike Shankara's Advait, Suddhadvaita asserts that the entire universe is Brahman and there is no illusion, Maya, involved in its creation. It is closely associated with the Pushtimarg sect. Question 68. Who wrote Dasbodha? The correct answer is option C, Ramdas. Explanation: Dasbodha is a classical Marathi spiritual text written by Samarth Ramdas, 1608 to 1682 CE, a prominent saint and spiritual guide in Maharashtra. It is a comprehensive treatise on devotion, knowledge, and practical advice for leading a righteous life. Ramdas was also the spiritual guru of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Question 69. Who started the Khalsa in the Sikh religion? The correct answer is option B, Guru Gobind Singh. Explanation: Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th and last of the Sikh Gurus, founded the Khalsa, the Pure Ones, in 1699 at Anandpur Sahib. The Khalsa is a collective body of initiated Sikhs, committed to a disciplined way of life, including wearing the 5 Ks, Kesh, Kandha, Kara, Kachra, Kirpan. This institutionalized the Sikh community as a distinct martial and spiritual brotherhood. Question 70. Who wrote Sur Sarvali? The correct answer is option D, Surdas. Explanation: Sursarvali is a collection of devotional poems written by Surdas, a blind poet and saint of the Bhakti movement. He was a prominent devotee of Krishna, and his works, including Sursagar, Sursarvali, and Sahitya Lahari, are celebrated for their lyrical beauty and profound devotion to Lord Krishna. He is considered one of the greatest poets of Hindi literature. Question 71. Which one of the following places was known as the Shiraz-i-Hind? The correct answer is option D, Jaunpur. Explanation: Jaunpur, a city in Uttar Pradesh, was known as the Shiraz-i-Hind, Shiraz of India, during the Khalji Dynasty, 1394 to 1479 CE. This epithet was given due to its flourishing cultural, educational, and architectural activities, which rivaled the famous Persian city of Shiraz. The Khalji rulers were great patrons of art, architecture, and learning. Question 72. Which one of the following rulers of Kashmir has been described as the Akbar of Kashmir? The correct answer is option B, Zainul Abidin. Explanation: Sultan Zainul Abidin, ruled 1420 to 1470 CE, of Kashmir, is famously known as the Akbar of Kashmir due to his policies of religious tolerance, promotion of arts and crafts, and public welfare. He abolished jizya, patronized Sanskrit and Persian learning, and encouraged the return of Kashmiri Pandits who had fled earlier persecutions. His reign is considered a golden age in Kashmir's history. Question 73. According to Abdur Razak, the pay of the policemen of Vijayanagar was paid from the proceeds of. The correct answer is option A, brothels. Explanation: Abdur Razak, a Persian ambassador who visited the Vijayanagara Empire during the reign of Devaraya II, noted in his accounts that the police force of the city was paid from the income generated by brothels. This unique system highlights the diverse and sometimes unconventional revenue sources utilized by the Vijayanagara administration. Question 74. What is Kuttagiri in the context of medieval land systems? The correct answer is option B, lease system of cultivation. Explanation: Kuttagiri refers to a lease system of cultivation prevalent in some parts of medieval India. Under this system, land was leased out to cultivators for a fixed period, often for a share of the produce or a fixed rent. This was a common practice in agrarian economies to ensure cultivation and revenue collection. Question 75. What is Asthavana in the context of the Vijayanagara administration? The correct answer is option A, Land Revenue Department. Explanation: Asthavana was the land revenue department in the Vijayanagara Empire. It was responsible for assessing and collecting land taxes, which formed the backbone of the empire's economy. The efficiency of this department was crucial for maintaining the large army and funding the extensive public works and temple constructions. Question 76. The term Senabova or Sambhoga was an official designation under the Vijayanagara kingdom. It refers to the. The correct answer is option C, village accountant. Explanation: in the Vijayanagara administration, the Senabova or Sambhoga was the village accountant. This official played a crucial role at the local level, maintaining village records, land registers, and assisting in revenue collection. Their meticulous record-keeping was vital for the smooth functioning of the agrarian economy and administration. Question 77. In which language did Babur write his memoirs, called Tughlaq Dynasty? The correct answer is option D, Turkish. Explanation: Zeruddin Muhammad Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire, wrote his autobiography, Tughlaq Dynasty, also known as Baburnama, in Chagatai Turkish, his native language. This work is a valuable historical document, providing detailed insights into his life, campaigns, observations of India, and his personal reflections. It was later translated into Persian as Baburnama. Question 78. Which revenue system among the following is also known as the Bandobast system? The correct answer is option A, Japti. Explanation: the Japti system was a prominent land revenue system introduced by Akbar and refined by his finance minister Raja Todar Mal. It is also known as the Bandobast system. Under Japti, land was measured, and a fixed cash revenue was assessed based on the average produce and prices of the previous 10 years, the Sala system. This system aimed at a more scientific and equitable assessment of land revenue. Question 79. What was the original name of Noor Jahan? The correct answer is option C, Meher-e-Nisa. Explanation: the original name of Noor Jahan, the powerful and influential wife of Mughal Emperor Jahangir, was Meher-e-Nisa. She was given the title Noor Mahal, Light of the Palace, and later Noor Jahan, Light of the World, by Jahangir, reflecting her beauty and influence. She played a significant role in Mughal politics and administration during Jahangir's reign. Question 80. Which Mughal emperor is credited with prohibiting sati unless the widow herself, of her own free will, persistently desired it? The correct answer is option A, Akbar. Explanation: Akbar, the great Mughal emperor, took steps to discourage the practice of sati, widow immolation. He issued decrees that prohibited forced sati and required official permission for any act of sati, ensuring that it was a voluntary act. He also appointed officers to oversee the process and intervene if coercion was suspected, reflecting his reformist zeal and relatively tolerant social policies. Question 81. Who among the following Englishmen was given the title of Khan by Emperor Jahangir? The correct answer is option C, William Hawkins. Explanation: Captain William Hawkins was an English merchant and diplomat who arrived at Jahangir's court in 1608, seeking permission for the English East India Company to establish a factory at Surat. Jahangir was impressed by Hawkins' knowledge of Turkish and granted him the title of English Khan or English Khan and a Mansab rank. Although Hawkins failed to secure the trading rights, his visit was significant for early Anglo-Mughal relations. Question 82. What was Duaspasihaspa and who introduced it? The correct answer is option D, a subrank of Sawar introduced by Jahangir. Explanation: Duaspasihaspa was a significant reform introduced by Emperor Jahangir within the Mansabdari system. It was a subrank of Sawar, cavalry rank, that allowed a Mansabdar to maintain twice or thrice the number of horses for his cavalry contingent without increasing his Zat, personal rank. This innovation aimed to address the shortage of good quality horses and reduce the burden on the imperial treasury while maintaining military strength. Question 83. Who among the following Mughal ministers was also the Paymaster General? The correct answer is option B, Mir Bakshi. Explanation: the Mir Bakshi was the head of the military department and also served as the Paymaster General of the Mughal Empire. He was responsible for the recruitment, organization, and payment of the army, as well as maintaining the records of Mansabdars. The Diwan was the head of the revenue and finance department, the Khanaisaman managed the imperial household, and the Vakil was a general prime minister, often without specific departmental duties. Question 84. Who were the Harkaras of the Mughal period? The correct answer is option D, spies and special couriers. Explanation: Harkaras in the Mughal administration were spies and special couriers. They formed an extensive intelligence network, collecting information from various parts of the empire and delivering urgent messages. They were crucial for the emperor to stay informed about political developments, military movements, and public opinion across the vast Mughal territories. Question 85. What was the Jajmani system of the Mughal period? The correct answer is option C, a reciprocal system that existed in rural India between the peasantry and other occupational groups. Explanation. The Jajmani system was a traditional reciprocal socio-economic system prevalent in rural India, including during the Mughal period. It involved an exchange of goods and services between landowning families, judgments, and various occupational groups, kamins, like artisans, barbers, washermen, etc. The kamins provided services to the judgments, and in return, received a share of the harvest or other payments, fostering a symbiotic relationship within the village community. Question 86. During Akbar's reign, a group of scholars translated the Mahabharata into Persian from Sanskrit. What is this Persian version called? The correct answer is option B, Rajamnama. Explanation. Under Emperor Akbar's patronage, a special translation bureau was established to translate Sanskrit works into Persian. The Mahabharata was translated into Persian by scholars like Faji and Badani and was titled Rajamnama, the Book of Wars. This project was part of Akbar's policy of cultural synthesis and understanding different religious traditions. Question 87. Which of the following revenue systems were Akbar's own innovations? Statement 1. Batai. Statement 2. Kankut. Statement 3. Nasak. Statement 4. Japti. Statement 5. Dehsala. Select the answer from the codes below. The correct answer is option D, 4 and V. Explanation. Among the given options, Japti and Dehsala were the direct innovations of Akbar's reign, particularly under Raja Todarmal. Japti involved measurement of land and fixed cash assessment. The Dehsala system, also known as Todarmal's Bandobast, was a refinement of Japti, where the average produce and prices of the last 10 years were used to fix the revenue. Batai, crop sharing, Kankut, estimation, and Nasak, group assessment, were older methods, though they continued to be used in some areas. Question 88. Who translated Tughlaq Baburnama into Persian? The correct answer is option C, Abdur Rahim Khanai. Explanation. Tughlaq Baburi, originally written in Chagatai Turkish by Babur, was translated into Persian by Abdur Rahim Khanai during the reign of Emperor Akbar. Abdur Rahim was one of the Navratnas, 9 jewels, of Akbar's court, a renowned poet and a scholar. His Persian translation, known as Baburnama, made the work accessible to a wider Persian reading audience in the Mughal Empire. Question 89. Who wrote Tabqat-i-Kabri? The correct answer is option D, Nizamuddin Ahmad. Explanation. Tabqat-i-Kabri is a comprehensive history of India from the Ghaznavids to the 38th regnal year of Akbar, written by Nizamuddin Ahmad. It is considered a valuable source for the history of the Mughal period, particularly for Akbar's reign, and is known for its factual accuracy and chronological precision. It served as a source for later historians like Badani and Abul Fazl. Question 90. Who was the in charge of a Pargana during the Mughal period? The correct answer is option C, Shikdar. Explanation. During the Mughal administration, a Pargana, a sub-district administrative unit, was primarily headed by a Shikdar. The Shikdar was responsible for maintaining law and order, assisting in revenue collection and general administration at the Pargana level. The Amil was a revenue collector, and the Kanungo was a hereditary record keeper of land rights and revenue. Question 91. Which of the following varieties of land during the Mughal period did not yield any land revenue to the state? The correct answer is option C, Sayurghal. Explanation: Sayurghal, also known as Madadaimas, lands were revenue-free grants made by the Mughal emperors to religious scholars, saints, charitable institutions, and needy individuals. These lands were intended for their maintenance and did not yield any land revenue to the state. Khalisa lands were directly administered by the state, Jagir lands were assigned to mansabdars in lieu of salary, and Raiti lands were those cultivated by peasants who paid revenue. Question 92. What portion of the actual produce was fixed as the demand of the state under the Japti system? The correct answer is option B, 1/3. Explanation: under Akbar's Japti system, also known as Todar Mal's Bandobast, the state's demand for land revenue was generally fixed at 1/3 of the average produce. This was a significant reform aimed at standardizing revenue collection and ensuring a stable income for the state, while also providing some predictability for the cultivators. Question 93. Akbar's enlightened religious policy was based on his philosophy of Sulh-i-Kul, which meant. The correct answer is option B, universal peace. Explanation: Sulh-i-Kul was the core principle of Emperor Akbar's religious policy. It literally means universal peace or absolute peace. This philosophy advocated for peace and harmony among all religious groups, promoting mutual respect and understanding rather than discrimination. It led to policies like the abolition of jizya, patronage of all religions, and the establishment of the Ibadat Khana for interfaith dialogue. Question 94. The police chief of a city during the Mughal period was called. The correct answer is option C, Kotwal. Explanation: during the Mughal period, the Kotwal was the chief officer responsible for law and order, policing, and municipal administration in a city. His duties were extensive, including crime prevention, maintaining public peace, regulating markets, and even keeping records of births and deaths. The Fauzdar was a military commander and head of a Sarkar, district, while a Qazi was a judge. Question 95. To assist the Maratha king, there was a council of state ministers known as. The correct answer is option C, Ashtapradhan. Explanation: under Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the Maratha administration was organized with a council of 8 ministers known as the Ashtapradhan Mandal, Council of 8 Chiefs. Each minister was responsible for a specific department, such as the Peshwa, Prime Minister, Amatya, Finance Minister, Sumant, Foreign Secretary, etc. This system was crucial for efficient governance of the Maratha kingdom. Question 96. Under Maratha administration, who was the Dabir? The correct answer is option C, Foreign Secretary. Explanation: in the Ashtapradhan Mandal of the Maratha administration, the Dabir, also known as Sumant, was the Foreign Secretary. He was responsible for handling foreign affairs, diplomatic correspondence, and advising the king on matters related to other states. The Peshwa was the Prime Minister, and the Nyayadhish was the Chief Justice. Question 97. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was born at. The correct answer is option D, Shivneri. Explanation: Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of the Maratha Empire, was born on Shivneri Fort near Junnar, Pune district, in Maharashtra. Shivneri Fort holds immense historical significance as the birthplace of one of India's greatest warriors and administrators. Question 98. Dalals were. The correct answer is option B, brokers. Explanation: During the Mughal period, dalals were brokers or intermediaries in commercial transactions. They played a crucial role in facilitating trade by connecting buyers and sellers, negotiating prices, and arranging deals. They were particularly important in the textile and commodity markets, earning a commission for their services. Question 99. Who wrote Tarikh-i-Firuz Shahi? The correct answer is option B, Ziauddin Barni. Explanation: Tarikh-i-Firuz Shahi is a significant historical chronicle of the Delhi Sultanate, written by Ziauddin Barni. It covers the period from the reign of Ghiyasuddin Balban to the first 6 years of Firoz Shah Tughlaq's reign. Barni's work is a primary source for understanding the political, administrative, and social history of the Khalji and Tughlaq dynasties. Question 100. During the Mughal period, the Karwanis or Nayaks were. The correct answer is option B, merchants. Explanation: During the Mughal period, the Karwanis, also known as Banjaras or Nayaks, were groups of merchants or traders who specialized in transporting goods over long distances, often in large caravans. They played a vital role in the internal trade and economy of the empire, moving commodities like grain, salt, and other necessities between different regions.